Hope y'all doing well today. Y'all know me, I'm gonna give it a minute before I come on, start speaking, give y'all a chance to come in. Hope y'all doing well this afternoon. Not gonna be long. Just wanted to meet with the Mishpachah real quick, talk about something that's been on my heart and it's been on my mind. I just felt like today was a good day to talk about it. So do me a favor as you come in, hit that like button, make it known where you're coming from. In the chat, let me know where you're coming from. It's the end of August. It's finally starting to get cool a little bit. Where you at? What's the weather? Is it starting to go into fall season? Or is it still pretty warm? When I was in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, y'all was cold. Now granted, I got thin skin. Okay, I got thick skin, but I got thin skin with this weather. This weather is, this weather is 90 degrees or better most days. Okay, so I'm at ATL and it's the summertime. It's August. Please explain to me why it feels like 70 degrees outside with wind chill factor. Okay, maybe not wind chill factor, but y'all, it was. I brought my jacket and I was still cold. I was like, dang, I should have brought my coat. Man, I don't know how y'all do it. They told me the weather in Atlanta chooses what it wants to be, when it wants to be, what it wants to be. Okay, they said it goes through all 4 seasons. Whenever it feels like it, it's schizophrenic there. Speaking of Atlanta, shout out to the Mishpachah in Atlanta, specifically to those at Philly, Atlanta. I'm so glad I got a chance to spend time with y'all. Man, all I can say to y'all, shout out to S. Dowdy. All right, shout out to you, sis. All I can say is that y'all helped me process through. I am still going through right now. I'm still going through. For those of y'all who don't know, my grandmother passed away. That's why I was in Atlanta. Actually, my husband and I were scheduled to be in Puerto Rico for our anniversary, and our whole trip got derailed. And the reason for that is because my grandfather had passed away 6 months before, and I didn't get an opportunity to say goodbye to him. So my husband and I, we made a pact that when my grandmother's time came, that no matter what, that I would be there. And my grandmother was an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. She was a second mother to me, not a grandmother. And so, I'm still dealing with the wounds, but I praise y'all for the Mishpachah there in Atlanta, Philly, Atlanta. Shout out to Minister Israel, his wife Danielle. Shout out to my dear sis Diane and brother Rich, S. Dowdy, like I said, all the family there. Those who I got to meet for the first time, the Mishpachah from the VI who lives there in ATL now. Shout out to all of you. And thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for fellowshipping with me during that very grievous time. But let me go ahead and give a shout out to those of you who are in the comment section real quick before I get started. Oklahoma, that sounds cold. I don't know why. Shout out to you, LaShawn. Minneapolis, that sounds cold too. 77 degrees. Shauna Sampson, peace and blessings to you. I heard there was a school pew pew going on. I don't know if that was in that area where you're at, Shauna, but please let me know. My condolences to those who lost loved ones. Sister Desiree, it doesn't get chilly till the very end of October here in Georgia. Nah, don't even fake. I was just there. I was just there. What is your version of chilly? Pieces of me, shalom. Oakland, California is sunny. Okay, now Cali is sunny. Cali is dry. It's dry. It's not like this humid heat that we have, but it's definitely hot there. Yakir Melkaya, I know you, brother. How are you? Shalom, shalom. Please forgive me for messing up your name. All right, Shonda says it's fake fall. Then blessing summer is coming back. Then blazing summer is coming back. Oh, okay, I got you. Mr. The Original School. Shalom, shalom. Desiree Dennis. I like to hang out with you guys sometimes. So, I just want to come on and give my thoughts on this subject, but also to say shalom to all of you. All right, got Elder Asaph in the building. Shalom to you. Shalom as always. Stepha DC. And Elder Asaph is he's across the pond in the UK. Okay. So I know it's cold there. Thank you very much for your condolences. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. All right. Sister Priscilla says, understand what you're going through. I lost my husband last December. Peace and blessings. And my condolences to you too as well, Sister Priscilla. My condolences to you. Because I know that's not easy. Yeah, we got to support and love one another when we're going through, because, these are the times when, life is just moving so fast. It's just moving really fast. But let me go ahead and get on this topic real quick. I came across this young man's video, and I don't know the name of his channel. I'll probably put it in the comment section when I get an opportunity to. He has a very new channel. It's growing rapidly. Got a lot of great content on there, but he did a video today, and he was talking about the wars that we're seeing in the diaspora over identity. And he was talking about, our folk that, they're contending for being quote unquote Native American and trying to separate themselves from the continent altogether. And then he mentioned a young lady. He showed a video of a young lady who said that she's a Hebrew Israelite and said, we're not African. The Africans were cursed. Okay. They were cursed, but the Europeans mixed us up with those cursed Africans, and that's why they brought us over here, because they thought we was them. And I'm looking at this foolishness, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And he's like, ask a question, isn't it all right if we're just black? So I wanted to address some of the things that were said, because I think that a lot of points that he made were relevant, but I want us to understand something. We, as Israelite stock from the household of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we are an African people. For those of you who be like, no, we're not African because we're Israelites, I don't think you understand how this works. Okay, so if you go back to Noah and you look at his son Shem, you are going to see that the word Shem is defined as Afro-Asiatic. Afro-Asiatic. All life started in Africa, but Afro-Asiatic. Why? Because his lineage traced all throughout that region in the continent of Africa and the quote-unquote Middle East. Okay? Because Abraham came out of the quote-unquote Middle East before going south and going into the receiving the promised land. He was always in Egypt. He was always going back and forth in sub-Saharan Africa, where I firmly believe that the promised land is, based on terrain, based on descriptors of animal life in the Bible, based on the fact that the scripture says that the promised land is a land flowing with milk and honey. And please explain to me, in 2025, which continent on earth has more resources that are naturally put into the ground than Africa? Where do people of all nations go to prosper? Where do every ethnic group on this earth go to prosper? They do not go to Asia to prosper. They do not come to America to prosper. They do not go to Australia to prosper. They go to Africa. Why? Because it's all built in. It's all there. So I want to first off deal with this issue here. I want us to deal with this issue here, because sometimes our people I feel like there's such a spirit of rejection on our people that even though we know emphatically that the powers that should not be, the colonialists, have done and continue to do evil by us, there's a lot of our people that still look up to the big bully, like the cool kids, right? Okay, even though I know they're bullies, they're still the cool kids, and I want to hang around the cool kids and be accepted by the cool kids. So therefore, I'm going to disengage from my actual roots of where I actually come from and get to know where I actually come from so that I might be accepted into their society. We see this with Black MAGA, and we're seeing this with many parts of FBA, and we're seeing this with those who say they're Native American, and this is the land that we have gotten, and they tricked us into believing that we came on ships, even though there's records. There's historical records, of which I wrote in my book, of ships that were actually brought here, ships like the Clotilda, which you can go to Mobile, Alabama right now, and you can see parts of the ship that have been taken off, that were broken apart and put into a museum in Africatown in Mobile, Alabama. That particular tribe that was taken on the last slave ship, known as the Clotilda, is the Yoruba tribe. Okay, the Yoruba comes out of West Africa, specifically in Nigeria. So when we want to sit there and try to make it seem as though we don't have any type of connection to the continent, we are doing ourselves a disservice. We're doing ourselves a disservice because Africa is the wealthiest continent. So yes, you are African, but guess what about that? That is amazing. That is fantastic. That is a blessing. And how many of us know that now that we've come out with this understanding, as the book of Daniel said, that the books will be open and that information, knowledge would go to and forth from the earth. And now these books are being opened. And now we're understanding more about who we are that was taken from us. How many of us know that the powers that should not be come in to disrupt that because they want to disconnect us from our true heritage? They want to disconnect us from our lineage. They want to disconnect us from our blessing. I think what we need to understand is that Africa is such an instrumental part of the world that the powers that should not be understand that if we are connected to the continent, then we are a force to be reckoned with, as the scripture said that we will be. Ezekiel 38, when we go back to the land of unwalled villages and have peace, that they will come and disrupt our peace there. Why? Because they understand that us being connected to the land means that we actually have options. We actually have ability to move and create and to design and to build infrastructure and to use our skills without their constant bullying and constant mind control and constant putting us down and making us feel like we're nothing. But some of us, we've gotten so comfortable with the bullying. We've gotten so comfortable with the ways of the West that we turn away from our true ancestry and true heritage. Some folk, they will sit there and gaslight themselves and say, I'm not going to do an ancestry test because those ancestry tests are owned by the Jewish people. Well, riddle me this, Batman. If that is the case, why is it that in the state of Israel that they ban their people from taking those same ancestry tests? They ban them from taking it because they know that if their people were to take those tests, it will point out that they are not from the quote unquote Middle East, as they would like to say, which is Northeast Africa, but they're actually from Europe. They're from Europe, okay? They are from Eastern Europe, many of them. And so they don't want their minds to be overwhelmed with the reality of what is in their blood, what's in their DNA. And so these same people don't want their people looking at the DNA test, but then you're telling me that you don't want to look at your DNA test? You see, I grew up, like many of you, hearing, oh, I'm Native American. Oh, I got Cherokee in my family. Y'all see my hair is a little bit finer, it's a little bit curlier, it's not as coarse. And so I was told all my life, oh, I've got Native American, I got Cherokee blood. When I did my actual DNA test, I found out that I was about 65% West African, 35% European, specifically out of Nigeria is where the majority of my blood comes from. Specifically out of all the tribes that are in Nigeria, my tribal lineage is Igbo. Igbo, which comes from Eber, which was one of the great-grandsons of Shem. Okay? Many of us are Igbo. Okay? And so when we actually look at our DNA evidence, we'll be able to see where it is that we come from. Now, as far as Native American ancestry, less than 1%. Now, those people will say, but no, I've done my DNA and I see that there's Native ancestry in my DNA. Let's make something very clear. I said I had 35% European DNA. What we need to understand is that many of the Native American tribes also own slaves. They own slaves, and integration took place just like any other colonizer would. Integration took place, and so there are some people that do have Native American ancestry inside of them to a marginalized group. But see, y'all don't claim the European sides of you, but you want to claim the 5 or 10% Native and walk around and you're wearing the feathers and all of those things. And that's fine. I understand, because I'm not angry with our people for trying to get to know who we are, because everything was taken from us. So I'm not going to be one of those people that try to make you feel like, oh, because you are interested in knowing whether or not you have roots as a Native American, that somehow you're incompetent or you're illiterate or you're just hungry for somebody else's identity. Everything was stolen from us. Everything was stolen from us. Legit, everything was stolen from us. So when you think about the fact that we as a people do not speak our language, we do not go by the names that are actually what our ancestors went by. A lot of our names end with like Ashanda, Maya, Sarah, you know, a lot of that because of Yah within us. However, I will say that in terms of the last names, we know that those are the last names of the colonizers. We know that those are the last names of the European colonizers who were the owners over our ancestors during chattel slavery. So those names do not belong to us. You know, the Bible that was fed back to us as a European Hellenistic book versus a Hebraic, Shemitic, Afro-Asiatic book. All of those things have been disrupted in our system, in our DNA, in our minds. And I don't think it's very fair for people to try to make it seem like those of us who are wanting to know who we are, there's something wrong with us for trying to figure out what this journey looks like for us. I think that's unfair. But the reality is that once you actually do the legwork, once you do the homework, once you've taken time to actually look at the history, once you've actually done the scientific work, once you've done the biblical examination, once you've done those things, then you should have a much more clear understanding of what has happened to us as a people, what will happen to us as a people, where we go from here, versus staying in ignorance. And the problem is that what we don't understand about the internet, and I want to clear this up because a lot of people don't understand, this is not the YouTube of yesteryear, okay? Social media is not the social media of yesteryear where it was humans giving human thoughts or giving knowledge and instruction and understanding. 50% of the internet right now is run by AI. And a lot of the comments that you see in the comment section are ran by bots. And so when you consider that, you have to understand that the propaganda machine is so much more, the witchcraft is much stronger today than it was even 50 years ago. Well, what do I mean by the witchcraft is stronger? The disinformation and misinformation is so much stronger today than it was 50 years ago. That's why I implore and encourage everybody to get living books. Don't just look at everything from an ebook or what you can read in an article, because it can all be shifted. It's digital. But once you have something in print, that's a lot harder to change. Not that it can't be changed, but it's a lot harder to change. So you have to understand that a lot of the information that is fed to us today is a lot of propaganda. It just is. So go back into the old materials, go back into primary sources and secondary sources for your information, versus just looking at somebody's TikTok and saying, okay, that makes sense, so therefore I'm going to agree with it. Actually do the legwork, do the homework. Many of us have done that. Many of us have been on this journey for 8, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Many of us have been sitting there and doing the laborious work of trying to put the pieces together, because everything was taken from us. So again, I go back to this issue about being African. Being African is not negative. It is not a negative. It is a net positive. And when we understand that the second largest continent in the entire world and the most prosperous nation and continent in the entire world, the most misunderstood continent in the entire world, the most um, graped continent in the entire world, from every nation taking advantage of both the people and the resources. That's where we come out of, and we start owning it, and we start appreciating it, and we start loving where we come from. Then we can start to see real change within us as a people. But we have to stop allowing what the enemy has defined as negative for us to receive that as negative. I'm going to give y'all a perfect example. Recently, social media came up with a term called black fatigue. Now, black fatigue, when it originally came out, was about black people who were tired of the ways of the YT man and woman. They were sick of it. They were exhausted with just the constant negativity. We do something positive, it's a negative. We do something negative, it's a negative. It don't matter. You can't win for losing, right? So black fatigue came out originally as a term that was supposed to be for those of us who were exhausted with trying to fit into their paradigm, trying to get their likes, trying to win their affection. I think probably in less than a week or 2 weeks, it got flipped. The script got flipped around, and black fatigue immediately became about white people who were tired of black people. And then all of a sudden, you had these black MAGAs that came out talking about black fatigue, and yeah, we're so tired of you ghetto and ratchet people. Bruh, I mean, just like that, the definition got switched. This is what I'm talking about. When I say, listen, the witchcraft has gotten stronger, because anything that we do is a negative when we do it. But anything that we do that's a negative, when they do it, it becomes a positive. All the time. All the time. Y'all going to check out this young brother's channel, because he talks a lot about this. He talks about how the Western European Caucasian society, I'm trying to be careful about the wording that I use, how they constantly co-opt everything that we do. When we do it, it's a negative. When they do it, all of a sudden, it's a positive. And so they've done the same thing with Africa. They've done the same thing, because those of us who come to know who we are as the children of Yasharel, we began to look at Africa through new lenses, look at it through new eyes. We didn't see the children with the elongated faces and extended bellies with the flies flying around them and the little village huts, and for less than $1 a day you can give little TT something to put on. That's what was the messaging that we were fed while we were growing up all of our lives. And to find out that Africa is a vast continent with so much wealth and mansions and beauty and galore and fresh food that's not, been tainted by GMOs and all of these things. Like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Like, there's all kinds of places there. There's all kinds of culture there. Not every person that has melanin on their skin acts the same way, because they have different tribes, and some are Shemitic and some are Hamitic, and there's so much vastness on the continent. And so we began to embrace and look forward to getting to know that continent which we were taken forcibly from. And now all of a sudden, the diaspora wars. Now all of a sudden, we're everything but African. So I want to address that. I want to address it, and I want to encourage those of you who are, you're moved by the pressures of society and what society thinks and dictates to you. Do not feel like being of African stock is a negative. There's nothing wrong with being of African stock. It's actually something amazing and fantastic. Remember, in the last days, they shall call evil good and good evil. They shall call right wrong and wrong right. So they want you to believe that the place that you live in America, most of you, that's the best there is. They want you to believe that robots bringing you your food is normal, that that's okay. They want you to get in one of those self-driving cars that I saw there in Atlanta. They want you to think that's okay. They want you to think that the houses made with cardboard are greater than the houses built with concrete and steel. I'm just saying. They want you to think that fighting for a 9-to-5 job that cannot keep the roof over your head, and a job where you are being fed microaggressions every single day, that's something that you should be striving for. That's what they want you to think. They want you to think that all of this struggle is the way. The last thing they want you to think is that you can go to the continent, that you can observe the vast amounts of land, that you could take those same Western dollars and you can buy some of that land, and that you could build a home that is going to last and be yours from one generation to the next. The last thing they want you to do is to think that that's okay. The last thing that they want you to do is think that you can talk to a chief, or that you can have any political power. The last thing they want you to think is that you could take all of this ingenuity that Yah has given you and bless that land. They want you to be disconnected from your roots. And so I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to encourage you. No, we can't all move to Africa today. But have you noticed that many of the countries now, particularly in West Africa, are making it easier for us to be able to gain dual citizenship, to have access there, to be treated with respect? It's like we have to stop listening to the detractors. We have to stop listening to them, because they are trying to steal the progress that is being made. There's real progress. I mean, real legitimate progress that is being made. It's not always on social media streets, but there is real progress that is being made for our people to be able to connect back to the land that we were taken from. So again, don't allow social media, don't allow these agent provocateurs, don't allow these self-hating ninjas to come on and try to make you feel like being connected to the wealthiest continent in the entire world is a negative. It's a net positive. Let me look at the comment section real quick and see what y'all got to say. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. All right. Yeah, I see there's been some deletes. Thank y'all. Shout out to my mods for deleting the negative comments. That's right. Everyone is in Africa. The human species originated in Africa. I'm telling you. Oh, yeah. I heard about that Nick Fuentes guy. Yeah, I mean, what you gonna do? These people are like a cancer. When a cancer is dying out, it fights all the more to stay relevant. More people would know this if they research their DNA and lineage. That's the thing. They don't want to research their DNA and lineage because they're too scared of what they're going to find out. A lot of people are scared. Like, I don't want to research my DNA. And I think even some Israelites are scared to check their DNA because they're like, well, what if I get back my DNA and it says I'm Hamitic and not Shemitic? Well, I don't think that that's going to happen very often, because those of us who have been dispersed to the four corners of the earth, we are the ones who fit the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 68, but we also fit the blessings of Genesis chapter 15. Yes, we're going to leave these nations with great substance. Hallelujah. No one can define who you are. Abba Yahuwah has told us who we are and whose we are. That's right. Black MAGA is the Django Unchained. Ain't that truth? Ain't that truth? Black women are hated the most online. Yeah, it's a lot of hate, man. And that should tell us, that's another thing that tell. If we're constantly being hated on, people aren't hated unless there's something to hate them for, right? And a lot of these people that hate They hate because of that J word, jealousy. It's just jealousy. A lot of people hate, especially when it comes to black women. We have the Eve gene. We make every nation of the world comes through our womb. So yeah, that's a reason to hate us. That's right. They call evil good and good evil. That's right. Guru said it in 1992. Flip the script. That's what it's about. Flipping the script. Black men side with white and simp for white women. I can't say all black men, and I think that's a part of the propaganda too. That's a part of the propaganda that all black men side with white men and side with the white community and simp for white women. That's a part of the propaganda. And I'm not saying that does not happen within our community, but I think also that happens from a lack of knowledge. That happens from constantly being told that you're nothing. Constantly being told that you and your people, that they're nothing. And so you think that if you can elevate to this part of society that you think is better than you, that somehow that means that you'll be better for those that do it. But I can't label all black men in that category, because then I'd be labeling my husband in that category. And my husband isn't doing that. We're 20 years strong in marriage, raising 10 beautiful black babies. So I'm just saying, All right, let's see here. Check out a couple more comments. Why can't black people admit the pinky pig skin beast man is our enemy? I'm going to leave that one alone. Brother. We love you too, fam. We welcome you home, brothers and sisters. Okay. Trump dealing with Africa like it's the 1800s. Yeah. Hey, listen, we got plenty of enemies, but I tell you, Psalm 83 tells us they come in all complexions. That's all I'm going to say. They come in all complexions. Caucasians are native to the Caucasus Mountains, not native to America, nor Europe, the remote parts of the world you are native to. Yeah, I agree with you. They're definitely native to the Caucasus Mountains, and black bodies have been all over the world. We're not defined by their history, but the reality is that we come from the soil on the continent of Africa. They paint Jesus as white, while in reality Jesus is brown, Middle East immigrant. Okay, yeah. So Jesus was a Negro. I want to let me rephrase that. Yahusha HaMashiach, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, was a Shemitic man, which means he was Afro-Asiatic. He was a Negro. He is a Negro. He gonna come back to that same burnt brass Negro. That's what's really gonna throw a lot of people off. I don't like that term, brown Middle East immigrant, because when you see a quote unquote African American, you don't call us brown Middle East immigrants. You call us black people. You call us African Americans. But somehow, when it comes to the King of Kings, who came from the Lion of Judah, from which we descend, all of a sudden now he's brown Middle Eastern immigrant. Middle East is a new concept. It's Northeast Africa, if you even want to say that he was placed in that particular part of the land. But no, he was not a brown Middle Eastern immigrant. Okay? No, we'll never side with ops that sold us. That's like a woman siding with her abuser. Read Israelite. I talk about it. I talk about it in my book. All right. Let's see. All right. Reload says that's cap. That happens when you don't know the truth. Yeah. Well, that's why we need to learn the truth about ourselves. I'm not sure exactly what cap is. When you actually can articulate to me what you believe is a lie, then we can have a discussion. But using a phrase is not coherent enough for me to be able to reply back. All right. So, Yakira, I'm going to post his link in the comment section when I'm done with this video so that y'all can see and y'all can subscribe to him. But like I said, I just wanted to come on and I want to say, it's okay. It's okay to be African. It's actually better than okay. It's fantastic. It's a blessing to be from the richest continent in the entire world. And Yah willing, soon we're going to get back there. Okay? That's a blessing. Don't let them deceive you. I apologize about that. That's a blessing. Don't let them deceive you. It's a blessing to be from the richest continent in the entire world. That's right. The richest continent in the entire world. That's a blessing. Don't let them make that a curse. It's a blessing. And we're going to get back there according to Genesis chapter 15. We are going to get back there. Genesis chapter 15. I apologize. Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. We're going to get back there. We're going to get back there. So, okay, was responding about black men siding with their oppressors stereotype. Yeah. So you saw I covered that. I don't agree that black men side with their oppressors. I think that is a stereotype. Just like I believe that all black people are ratchet and ghetto is a stereotype. I don't know very many ratchet and ghetto black people. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I know a lot of black folk, but I don't know many ratchet and ghetto ones. I'm not going to tell you I never knew any. I've known ratchet and ghetto black folk personally, but they have been far few and in between. And y'all might say, oh, well, maybe because I'm not in the ghettos and all of that. That's cap as well, because I've been in many spaces, and whether it's the ghettos or whether it's in, nice neighborhoods, just because a person lives in a particular area doesn't make them ghetto. So it doesn't make them ratchet. Most of the black people I know are highly educated people, very artistic people, very intelligent people, well-mannered. They're married. They have beautiful families. They have great children. Most of the ones that I know, they're business owners, the ones that I know personally. Okay, so again, these are stereotypical, and I'm not saying I know everybody in the world, but I've met quite a few people. So this idea that all black people are ratchet, all black people are ghetto, all of that stuff is stereotypical, and we got to just stop receiving these stereotypes about ourselves. We're talking about ourselves, and we believe that just because, we have, as they call ebonics, which comes again from the word Igbo, just because we have a way with communication, just like the Gullah Geechee people, that's just how we are. That's how we are, and that's what makes us different. That's what makes us beautiful. That's the beauty of us, is that we took a language that was forced upon us and we made it into our own. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I was listening to Trevor Noah, his comedy, and he's from South Africa, and he was saying how much he wanted to be Black American, and when he said, nah, I mean, like, we already, nah, I mean, we know what nah, I mean. You know what I'm saying? But the whole point is that is just our vernacular, and that makes us distinct, because we're just cool like that. We just, at the end of the day, we cool. We take something and we make it our own. That should tell you we're the most unique, artistic, creative, amazing, wonderful, blessed, beautiful, fantastic, lovely, wise, intelligent people on the face of this planet. Yes, we are. That's us. And I know that makes some people upset when I say that, but that is just facts. The reality is what it is. Look at the books. Look at the statistics. Look at the history. We are bad, boy. You understand what I'm saying? We are all of that, and the bag of chips, and the steak and potatoes that came with the plate. We're all of that. Yes, we are. We're absolutely amazing. We're amazing at everything that we do. We're amazing whether we're in America. We're amazing whether we're in the Caribbean. We're amazing whether we're in the UK. We're amazing whether we're in Canada, whether we're in Asia, whether we're on the continent. We are an amazing people. We are royal. And that's what makes people, it makes people burn in their skin, because they know it's the truth. And they can't stand that reality. Who said it best? What them boys, them rappers, Outkast. Can't nobody, how'd he say it? Ain't nobody, I can't even remember, y'all. They just said, so fresh and so clean. I remember that part. It's been a long time since I heard that song. Anyway, family, I just want to connect with y'all. I hope that this has been a blessing for y'all. It's been a blessing for me to connect with y'all, to hear y'all thoughts. Again, definitely keep my family in prayer. I have a message that I'm going to be sharing. It's called When We DIE. When we DIE, we live. I'm going to be sharing that probably in another week or two. Just trying to get my thoughts together. Do me a favor, hit the like button. I'm definitely being shadow banned really quick. PSA on that. I'm being shadow banned even more now than I have been in a long time. So hit the like, hit the share. YT, meaning YouTube, is definitely not happy. Not happy with my channel. So they've been shadow banning me probably for the last 3 weeks. I've noticed a lot of shadow banning on my channel. So do me a favor and hit those likes. And like I said, family, it's always blessed to hang out with y'all. I miss y'all, and I'm so glad to be able to just hang out and be blessed with y'all. The Lion's Den, Hebrew Israelites are from Africa, okay? You need to understand before I go. Hebrew Israelites are from Africa. Africa is a continent, okay? If you say that you're a Hebrew Israelite, then you are claiming to be a part of the lineage of Shem. And Shem, by definition, don't let them twist it and tell you anti-Semitic means Jewish. No, Shem, Semitic, Shemitic, by definition, is Afro-Asiatic. Okay? Read the Bible. It was all in Africa. Well, he says from the borders, beyond the borders of Ethiopia, he calls his suppliants. Where's Ethiopia? It's in Africa. Okay? So again, there are Hamitic Africans and Shemitic Africans. Those from Shem and those from Ham. Abraham talked to the Hamite Egyptians as a Shemitic man. Joseph, as a Shemitic man, was the second most powerful man in all of Egypt, which is in Africa. Okay, so just want to say that. Just clear that up. Africa's a beautiful place. Second largest continent in the world, and the richest continent in the entire world. It's a blessing. All right, family, let me go ahead. Let me get out of here with all this noise and yakety yak in the back. I hope y'all are blessed, and I look forward to seeing y'all again soon. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. As always, love yourselves while hating your enemies. And until next time, y'all bless and salam.